We're all here for the Madden Bowl. The top 16 players in the world are vying for this belt.
And here we go. The start of the Madden Bowl is now. And he's in there for a score. Touchdown, Drini.
There are so many amazing storylines, so many different possibilities. I can't wait to see the action. It's going to be amazing.
We are at the home of John Madden football here in San Francisco, California. We've been going all year long trying to find a champion, and now we're down to the final game here of the year. Only 2 players remain. That's RG down on the end, EA developer, former player. This guy's a Madden champ, Serious Mo, and RG. The time is now.
Oh my goodness, Scott, 8 months of hard work for these players, hundreds of thousands of players, and now it's going to come down to one final game to determine the best Madden 19 player in the world. This is what competitive Madden's all about.
No question. Now, Mo, you've been here several times in a final. What are these players feeling right now?
They're feeling some nerves, Scott. It's going to come down to who can get that first stop and score. Let them nerves go a little bit, lock in, play their game.
Yeah, what's the kickoff it's going? I think everything will be fine for these players. And they're playing for 40 grand tonight, but they're also playing for the belt. And there's the commissioner, Matt Marcoux of Madden. The final time he'll put a Madden 19 belt out there before we transition to Madden 20. That's a good-looking belt. Good luck getting it home through TSA. And we're ready for the players to just about take the stage. Here is the path they took. Drini with a 17-3 win there in the semifinals over Little Man. That put him in the final. But how about Spoto? An upset for the ages. It was an instant classic. A big win over the 3-time champ, Skimbo. And they went back and forth. It was
Go back in the booth. Go back in the booth.
Opening drive. And then here comes Skimbo back the other way. We thought we had ourselves a ball game, and Skimbo got into it. See, Spoto just said, keep on talking. I'm going to keep on lurking.
Madden gives and Madden takes. Madden gives and Madden takes.
Absolutely right. The
takes.
youngster, 26-14 over the 3-time champ Skimbo. And there he is in his first Madden final. This is the biggest game of Madden in his career, being 17 with a chance to take home 40 grand, RG.
Yeah, you got to know Michael Spoto from Staten Island, New York, 17 years old. He hasn't even graduated high school yet. He's in the class of 2019. He graduates at the end of May, already secured himself $25K. Now he's going for the belt.
And Mo, here comes Drini.
Drini Gjoka, 19 years old, from DC. One of the best players on the circuit. He's only been able to compete for 2 years. He's been able to compete for 8 tournaments. He's qualified and made the live finals for 7 of those. And even better than that, he's made the finals of 50% of those, and that's 4.
A win tonight would put him over 200 grand in his short Madden career. Here, 4-1 in the Madden Bowl. He has looked awfully impressive with a balanced attack, both on the passing game and on the ground. There you see Spoto. They're getting geared up. Drini with the bandana on, and the pressure is immense right now, RG, playing for this belt.
Absolutely, Scott, and it's not just for that belt. Remember, the winner of this tournament walks away with 40 grand cash money. So there's the glory, there's the guap. It's all on the line. 8 months of hard work. It all comes down to this. Let's rock.
And I want to remind you, RG, that we are playing salary cap mode. And that's a lot different than the folks at home that just fired up. They play regs, teams on teams. They get to be a GM.
Yeah, absolutely, Scott. In the salary cap mode, that means that these guys aren't playing with the Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys. These guys are playing in a mode where they are in charge of the teams that they constructed. They have a certain salary cap. It's like daily fantasy football. You have a certain cap that you need to keep your team under, and you can use current NFL players and former NFL legends, each of them with a cap associated with them based on their skill level, and that's how you build your team. So if you see Michael Vick at quarterback instead of Eli Manning or Dak Prescott, that's why. These guys are using teams that they built themselves.
Spoto will start with it first. He'll hand it off to Sweetness, my favorite player of all time.
Get loose.
Walter Payton will pick up the first down. There's the offense.
And as you can see, that's a look at Spoto's offense. And more importantly, here's where you can see that's the cap total. You got to keep your cap under 1175. You got to fill 32 base positions and 2 flex. And if you're looking at Spoto, he spent 584 cap on his offense and 551 on his defense.
Yeah, pretty balanced. I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle Walter Payton having success. And there is Sharp, gets dispossessed. They got Michael Vick at quarterback, Mo. You got Walter Payton at running back. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Both these guys like to establish the run game. Both of them averaging over 100 yards per game on the ground. One thing you'll notice with Drini Gjoka, he's got some of the best defensive stick in Madden. He makes those tackles. He wraps you up. He's not letting you get comfortable.
Spoto wearing those
He might have him.
New York Giants uniforms while Drini is in the Cowboys. Let's take a look at his defense if we can.
Yeah, speaking of Drini's defense, this is a look at his lineup. And one thing to pay attention, he's got a LaDainian Tomlinson at middle linebacker. That's because in Ultimate Team, there's not just legends, there's also out-of-position players. So if you see Tomlinson making a play at linebacker, that's why it's a real fantasy style of mode of Madden where anything's possible. But the players love it because they're in complete control of not only their plays, but their rosters as well.
What a read.
These guys, none of these guys lucked into the final. These have been 2 of the most dominant players we've had in the tournament.
Absolutely. These are the 2 best players are in this tournament. There's no debating that. Both of them fought to get here. Both of them, not very many people have been able to establish a run. Only these two players have had very much success establishing that run.
Yeah, they've done it in 2 separate ways. Spoto's been doing it with Walter Payton, and eventually when Drini gets the ball, he's using a Joe Mixon that's really juiced up.
And on the other end of that, neither one of these players are allowing players to run for very much. Drini averaging 128 rush yards per game, only holding his opponents to 37 rush yards per game.
2nd and 13. I want to thank you for tuning in here tonight, wherever you might be. Thanks for making us a part of your Saturday. And a promising opening drive here for Spoto. Steps up in the pocket with Vick, and that is a laser beam to Sharp.
What patience
Pick up
by
the
Spoto.
first down.
And
there's his Papa Spoto, RG, in the crowd.
oh, how cool is that? Papa Spoto in the house, gets to watch his 17-year-old son try to bring home the bacon, all 40K of it. That's got to be an experience for Papa Spoto.
He told us he's going to be using it toward college. I'd be buying a new Camaro or something like that, but hey, that's just me. I told you, he's beyond his years. And he'll get it to the 35-yard line.
One thing I want to call out, Scott, you're going to see these players at the line of scrimmage. There's going to be a lot of motioning, audibling, and hot routing, and they're pretty much doing their best Peyton Manning impression. They're able to do all of that different stuff. See the defense, get themselves in a play or play setup that they feel comfortable with. So when you see Vick directing traffic like he is now, that's what he's doing. I call it your best Peyton Manning impression.
Vick here on 2nd and 9. Slings it to the outside. Picked off!
He's gone.
He might take it to the house. Michael Vick's got wheels, though. If he doesn't have Vick, it's a pick 6.
Absolutely. Vick is the ultimate pick 6 stopper, but how about that? Drini Gjoka with a huge interception. Remember, he lost in the same exact championship game last year. He's trying to get a belt, trying to get over the hump, and he's got the momentum early on against young Spoto.
Take a look at it again here, Mo. Whoop.
Look at that click on. So pure, so clean. Clicks on, goes and gets the ball, tries to make a move for 6. Luckily, Spoto, Michael Vick tackled him.
Yeah, that's the difference between, me at home and these guys. I mean, they want to be the one making the plays. They're not going to leave it up to the computer or the AI to make a play.
And that was a great example of what Serious Mo said at the top of the show. Drini, one of the best players in the world, are clicking on, making plays with his user defender, and he just showed it for you, for the world to see here on ESPN2. That was a phenomenal pick.
Got some space.
His first possession, there's Joe Mixon. And he'll take it to the 27-yard line. We're going to have 2nd and inches. We talked a lot about the money, but you can speak to this, Mo. There's nothing like winning that belt. That's what it's all about.
There's absolutely nothing like it. The glory, everybody knowing and having to admit that you're the best player. There's no feeling like it.
It was a few years ago. We were here in San Francisco, and the man right beside me, Serious Mo, beat Skimbo to lift the belt. Mixon will pick up the first down and a little bit more. He's going to get to the outside. Touchdown, Drini!
And the biggest game of the season, young Drini gets a little sticks in with Mixon after getting the stop.
Amazing vision. Amazing vision by Drini right there.
Oh, second to none when it comes to running that ball on the ground.
And if you remember, it was last year Drini was in this situation against young Kiv in Dallas, Texas, came up short. Lost in the final possession, but this is sticky, icky. Ooh-wee.
Let's go, man! Come on, man, one stop.
We talked about it many times. When he's got the bandana on, you don't want to play Drini.
Yeah, there's Drini, and then there's bandana Drini. He's bandanaed up, rocking his complexity gaming hoodie. That's pretty much his uniform. Football players put on their shoulder pads, your cleats, your gloves, your helmet. Drini puts on the bandana and the complexity hoodie before he goes to business.
Well, there is OBJ. Drini is the youngest player to ever win a belt. If Spoto happens to win today, he would be the youngest to ever do it. At 17 years old, 7 months. They go up top, OBJ, and he overthrows him.
You can't throw that on that.
Taylor was step for step, though.
It's a big, big drive for Spoto. You've already turned the ball over. You've already let up a touchdown. Drini's too good to let jump out in front like this and get all the momentum. You need to respond, and you need to respond early if you're the youngin' Mike Spoto.
Down by a touchdown here on his second possession after throwing the pick. And Vick has got nowhere to go. The freak gets in there with a sack, and it's 3rd and 19. He's on aggressive, Mo.
Already Drini establishing that aggressive. What that means is Spoto's going to have to fake snap, or Drini's D linemen are going to be with their ears pinned back, ready to get to the passer. Look at those D linemen fighting.
Yeah.
They call this in the NFL, when I talk to NFL coaches, they call it the jet technique, Scott.
There's the players' lounge. A lot of former belt winners in there. Strafen's dancing a jig. Old Doug the Pirate. And it's the unicorn of Madden. It's a punt, and that gives it back to Drini.
Dear Spoto, you've gotten yourself in a situation. Drini's going to get the ball to start the second half. He's up 7. He's got the rock. But we've seen Spoto play stingy defense all tournament long. If there's ever been a time for him to get that defense out here and get a stop, this is it.
1st and 10. Drini with Lamar Jackson at the helm, the former Louisville Cardinal. And he's got time.
Going to throw it away.
And you'll notice in pre-play, Scott, Drini is pulling up his play art. So right now, you're seeing the game from Drini's perspective. Remember, they're playing online. So when you see that play art right there, Spoto cannot see that. You're only seeing it from Drini's perspective and getting a look in the mind of the legendary young Drini when he's on offense. That's really valuable stuff.
And there's a great grab. Pass midfield at the 48-yard line. First completion of the game for Drini. And it looks like that's going to take us to the end of one. 40 grand, and that belt right there is on the line. We come back. We got a lot more here from San Francisco. Drini up 7. The 2019 Madden Bowl is presented by Progressive Insurance. A touchdown for your budget. Visit progressive.com. Also by Snickers. You're off your game when you're hungry. Eat a Snickers. As we make our way to the second quarter here in San Francisco on the headquarters of EA. Caught Studio 209, and we got a 7-point lead for Drini. Scott Cole with you, along with Sirius Mo and RG on the call. Drini in control here. Pats midfield once again. And he's going to pitch it outside. There's Joe Mixon, the former Sooner. And he'll get dropped at the 41-yard line.
And here's the thing. If you're Spoto, this is where you got to go into full stinge mode. Drini is on the cusp of field goal range. He can make it 2 possessions, plus get the ball back to start the second half. If there was ever a time for you to really have to step up, this is it for Spoto. You need to get stingy right there, because once he gets in the field goal range, he's going to slow this game down, continue to milk that clock.
Well, during the commercial break, I heard Papa Spoto giving his son some encouragement. And Mixon almost got out of that at the 26-yard line. And you know that all too well, Mo. You need Mama Mo at home sending those good vibes, right?
Absolutely. Nothing better than having a gang behind you like your family. And if you guys are wondering how Drini's being so effective, he's in that New Orleans Saints playbook. He's not in the Dallas Cowboys playbook. He's in that Saints playbook. They got a ton of formations. You'll see Drini utilize a bunch of different formations like gun bunch, wide trips weak out of shotgun, under center tight slots. It's a great playbook with a ton of formations.
1st and 10 at the 26 now. Lamar goes up under center. There's Roberts coming across in motion. And he'll hand it off to Mixon again, and it's a touchdown, Drini. The Red Sea parted. It's getting biblical, RG.
Oh, my goodness. If you're Spoto, you are in trouble now. You're going up against one of the best players in the world for the last several years. A young man that only 19 years old is almost already cleared $200,000. Now you're down 14 points. This is where you find out what you're all about when you back up against the wall.
Let's take a look at this again. Just up the gut with Mixon.
Early on, Drini getting it done on the pound game. Spoto only gave up 23 yards a game rushing. Drini already over 100.
Remember, Spoto's coming off a semifinal where he beat one of the best Madden players of all time, and Michael Skimbo, who's won 3 belts. And Spoto's looking for his first, but he's in a deep hole here, down 14. Finally, he starts the fake snap just to see if that defensive line is unaggressive.
Well, that's the best way to counter that jet technique. They're anxious to get after the quarterback. You fake snap, try to draw him off sides. Here goes Spoto, moving the rock a little bit. There you go, one play at a time, young Mike.
Shannon Sharp makes this a 3rd and 11. Trips to the right. Did such a good job early in the tournament getting Walter Payton involved, and now down 14, he's starting to be a gunslinger.
Look for Moss in that corner out.
Moss is on B. And he'll throw it anyway, and Randy nearly caught it over the defender. Now here comes 4th down once again.
Probably going to see him go for this. Spoto, if you're Spoto, you have to convert here. You do not want this game to get away from you in the first half. It just can't happen versus a player like Drini.
Oh my goodness, this is the biggest play of the game right here. If Spoto doesn't get this, Drini's already in field goal range, so let's be able to milk clock, make it 3 possessions. You absolutely need this if you're Spoto.
4th and 11.
It's huge.
Vic, clean pocket, throws, and it's picked up again! Larkin and Reed, the legend!
Drini's all over Spoto right now.
Man, complexity game in own. Drini Gjoka from Washington, D.C., and Mo just said it. He is all over the youngin from Staten Island with a huge pick. And Drini's looking to make history. You see him pumped up about it. The first ever to win a draft champion's belt. Now he's looking to get his first salary cap belt. And no player has ever won a belt in both of those modes. Drini looking to make history here at the Madden Bowl.
The great way to think about it is if you're a tennis fan, that's what we do with Madden. We make you play all the modes from regular to draft all the way through to salary cap. It'd be like a guy winning on grass, clay, you name it. It just never happens.
That's a great way to explain it, Scott.
He's got him. Touchdown.
Touchdown, Drini. 21-0. And maybe the lights are too bright for the youngster Spoto.
Mo, I gotta ask you, have you ever been in this situation where you're in a huge game and you just find yourself in a huge deficit? And if so, what's your mentality?
Unfortunately, I have, RG. You got to take it one play at a time. I know you're down 3 possessions, down 21 points in a little bit compressed of a game, but you have to take it one play at a time. You have to score on this drive. It doesn't matter how long it takes you. You've got to focus on getting points on the board.
You're in a similar situation in Houston in Madden 17. Problem, the greatest of all time, had you way down, and you came all the way back to make it a game. So never say never in Madden.
Absolutely, Scott.
Vic swings it to the outside. There's OBJ.
The question's going to be is at the young age of only 17 years old, is Spoto going to be able to do that and fight through this adversity, stay focused, and take it one drive at a time?
And a lot of his energy comes from this trash talking, but there's nothing to talk about. It's 21-0.
For sure. Early on, though, I do like seeing him throw the small out route, get 5 yards, and then he's keeping his poise. He still is using that fake snap feature to draw Drini off sides. So from what I see right now, he's still playing his game.
For those that don't know, Scott, if you want a fake snap at the line of scrimmage, you simply press that RB button. It's going to give your opponent a little fake hike. Try to draw him off sides with that.
I'm a little biased here, but you got to work Walter Payton into your offense here at some point. Oh, the outside is picked off again.
For 6.
You get a pick. You get a pick. You get a pick. And this time it's for 6.
Unbelievable.
I mean, this is usually what Scott says, but if you have small children watching, you may want to turn them away from the screen. This is getting ugly.
This is not safe for work.
Oh, man. This is devastating. If you're Spoto, you've been an underdog all tournament long. You fought so hard all season. And now you find yourself down 28-0, pick 6 against one of the best players in the world. We're not even in the second half yet.
Let's go!
It's been a domination. Finally hands it off to Walter, and we hit the 2-minute warning. Needs anything right now. Just momentum.
One drive at a time. Get your 7 up. Maybe get a stop. Get another 7. That's all you're thinking right now if you're Spoto.
The problem is Drini is so proficient in the running game. I mean, he can just totally take the air out of the football when he gets it back. And you know, we talked about earlier going for it on 4th down, RG, and that's just because you have so many limited possessions in John Madden football.
Yeah, only 5-minute quarters. You need to take full advantage of them. You need to play a more aggressive style. And I'll tell you what's going to discourage Spoto is he's going up against Drini. Like you guys said, he has a prolific run game, and you know Drini's too smart. He's not going to hike the ball without milking the clock and taking his time, and Spoto knows that, and that's got to discourage him tremendously right now. It makes being in this situation even worse than it is when you know your opponent's so stingy. He's not the type to give you opportunities to get back in the game.
I mean, the disappointing thing for those that are just tuning in is Spoto was so dominant this week here at the Madden Bowl, beating some just unbelievable Madden players to get here. But Drini, he's different. He's built for this.
And Drini, he really has been one of the best in the world. Mo said it at the top of the show. In 2 years, he's only been able to qualify for 8 major events. He's made 7 of those events and been in the championship in 4 of them. That is unheard of. That's impressive. That's the type of numbers where if he keeps continuing to do this year in and year out, he might not only be the best Madden player in Madden 19, eventually he may be the best Madden player there ever was if he keeps these banging out credentials like this.
4th and 11. 1:11 to go here in the half. 28-0. Vic just trying to get anything going, and it is a committee meeting at the quarterback. There's the freak again, Javon Curse.
Now the question here is if you're Drini, you're up 28-0. It's only 59 seconds left. How aggressive do you get here on offense? Do you just run the ball?
I think we'll see 3 runs here and a field goal. I don't think he wants Spoto to have any chance to get any points before half. I think we'll see 3 runs here and a field goal.
Yeah, he's playing the clock right now. He's no longer playing Spoto. It's him and the clock for the belt.
He's going to let that play clock wind all the way down. One of the best at controlling this clock. Huge aspect of competitive Madden.
Mixon. I'm going back through my Madden database. I can't remember a final ever being like this.
Yeah, this is just completely unexpected. We're hyped. We're ready for a battle. We're ready for Drini to be tested, but right now, no dice for Spoto. The crowd trying to get behind him a little bit. He finally stands up for himself a little bit on defense.
This will make it 31-0. It's a 47-yarder for Drini. And it is up, and it is right down Main Street. We're here at the half. It is all Drini here in San Francisco, 31-0. Back here in San Francisco, and that look says it all. The young Spoto down 31-0 here at the half. Let's take a look at some of these first half highlights, and they're all Drini. He was already up 7-0, and then Joe Mixon untouched into the end zone, but it's really been the defense of that man right there, all bandanaed up. Drini, every out pattern was lurked, picked, perfect timing. There you see the legend, Sean Taylor, rest in peace, taking it to the end zone. And it's been all that man right there, 31-0. Anything can happen in the second half, but Spoto has got a tall mountain to climb. Back here at the home of John Madden football here in San Francisco, California. It is all Drini, 31-0 over the young Spoto, who's playing in his first final, and the lights have maybe become a bit too bright. Serious Mo, Madden 16 champ, is with me. RG is down on the end. He's played a lot of Madden himself, and of course, works there at Tiburon in Orlando. And I'm Scott Cole, and we are ready for the second half to begin. And here's the bad news. Drini gets the ball.
Yeah, I was about to say, Scott, right when you think things couldn't get any worse for young Spoto, he's got to start the second half giving it back to Drini and this Joe Mixon, who just will not stop breaking tackles and doing work and getting sticky. Oh, man. When it rains, it pours. And you know what they got a saying in Madden football? What do you do when you see a man drowning? The answer they give you is you throw water on him. And right now, Drini throwing water all over poor young Spoto.
Nearly 100 yards for Mixon, 10 carries for 99, including a couple touchdowns, and they'll go right back to him. He's over the century mark and a little more, out to the 45. And Mo, you're going to really see him work this clock.
Absolutely. And another thing is you can just tell Spoto was never comfortable. You see him shifting his D-line around, and he's still not able to stop that run game. He was just never comfortable in this game. They got away from him early. He never gave his defense a chance to bring him back. Just didn't play very good offensively. You're going to see Drini use a lot of this clock throughout the second half.
Well, Mo, this is a little different game than when you and Skimbo a couple years ago went into overtime here in San Francisco.
That's the best Madden game I've ever been a part of. Has a little bit to do with me winning too, but
you got a belt to prove it. That makes it a little nicer. 3rd and 1. Lamar Jackson for Drini, and he'll go to the air. And wide open as Spoto sent the house.
I mean, that's a great time to pass the ball. You got a huge cushion, and 3rd and 1, everyone in the mama's sink and run. So you go ahead and pass it, get yourself a big chunk, and then just continue to milk this clock. He's winding it down to 4 or 3 seconds minimum every time, and that's just got to be devastating for Spoto.
These guys combined for, I'm talking all 16 players, all the games we played this week, these guys combined for 30% of the rushing yardage, and a lot of that coming from Drini.
I'll tell you what, though, but if you're young Spoto, don't get your head down too much, regardless of what happens here. You're only 17 years old. You're still in high school. And you know what? You still guaranteed yourself $25,000 within this tournament. I don't know what you guys were doing when you were 17. I sure as heck wasn't making no $25,000.
I was at 7-Eleven trying to afford a big gulp.
You know what I'm saying?
3rd and 3.
Oh, my goodness.
And Mixon's just mixing it up. It's been diabolical from Drini, part of that Complexity Esports program. They're actually have a partnership with the Dallas Cowboys, and that's why you see them with the star on his helmet.
If we can, I'd like to pull up Drini's offense one more time if we have that graphic. I just want to show the people at home this offense that he's using in case anybody wants to go.
Oh, they want to know.
You want to know.
They want to know. Here it is.
And there it is. And this item right here, this Joe Mixon, this is the guy getting busy. If you're an Ultimate Team, you better go to that auction house and find your little Mixon so you can get sticks in yourself.
And there is Drini, the coach. We haven't said much of that. These guys, a lot of these guys have their own coach in the game where you can add that to your Ultimate Team as well. It's come a long way. And he's going to move the chains once again.
Up your fours.
Yeah, he's going to take this to the fourth quarter. It just flew by. Drini got the ball to start the second half. He has not relinquished possession. And he is 5 minutes away from winning 40 grand and his second belt. When we come back, it'll be the final quarter here from San Francisco. Back here in San Francisco, Redwood City to be exact, around the campus of EA. In one of our brand new studios here for Madden 19, and it has been all Drini. We welcome you back into the studio. I'm Scott Cole. That's RG down on the end. Works on the game, played the game forever. And Serious Mo, former champ, and you've been in this situation. You've been on both sides of this situation before.
Absolutely. I'm a little surprised, you know. This just shows how good Drini is. It really does. This is a Spoto who hasn't lost all tournament, just knocked off what people think is the best Madden player in Skimbo. And here's Drini just saying, I'm the best.
RG, what's the takeaway here? Drini just dominant.
Yeah, I'm with Mo. I mean, if you're looking at Drini, this is a guy you need to watch out for years to come. He does this full time. He's got a sponsor in Complexity Gaming. He's banked around $200,000 playing this game, and it just doesn't look like he's going to lose momentum anytime soon when it comes to this competitive Madden stuff.
Well, it's time for the final frame. We're just 5 minutes away from Drini taking home his second belt and maybe starting to get into the discussion of, is he challenging the Skimbos in problems for possibly the greatest Madden player of all time? He certainly is building a resume.
Yeah, I think another year or two of success like this, he'll be right in that discussion, but he has a little bit more work to do, Scott, in my opinion, if he wants to get in the greatest of all time discussion, but he's well on his way.
And that's the thing about Drini. He's got so many years left in him, only 19 years old.
And the eligibility now is 16 years old, but when he was a rookie, the number was 18. So if he was just a year or two early from maybe having an even deeper resume than we see now.
Yeah, when he was 17 years old, he was considered on the underground as one of the best Madden players in the world already. He just wasn't old enough to compete at that time. And then his very next year, first year of eligibility, being able to compete, he wins himself a belt, made the finals of this Madden ball last year, and here he is picking up right where he left off. A little better results.
Since he's become a rookie on the scene, there's been 8 majors. He's played in 7 of them and made 4 of the 8 finals. That's ridiculous.
I think if you would tell somebody, hey, we have 8 majors coming up, you're going to make 4 of them, I think they'd be excited, let alone make the finals of 4 of them. This kid's impressive, and like I said, I think he is going to be the player to watch out for the next few years.
And just to put that in perspective for the viewers at home, when we're talking about majors, these are tournaments that have thousands and thousands of people competing online. You need to qualify through a leaderboard. Then you need to get through online elimination. And then you make it to the live event. So just making a major in itself is a huge accomplishment for any Madden player. And for him to make 7 of them, that's truly Hall of Fame type stuff.
Spoto just trying to get something on the board here. He has been completely shut out. It's been those interceptions. One was a pick 6.
And it doesn't look like Drini's going to budge at all.
I mean, if you're Spoto at this point, I think you want to get points. I don't think we've ever seen a shutout in a championship game in all of competitive Madden, and oh my goodness!
It's a hit stick fumble, and it'll go back to Drini. It's Ed Reed again. He's got an interception and now a fumble recovery. Drini trying to win his second belt, currently holds the largest margin of victory in the MCS final. It was 40-19 over Young Kiv in last year's Madden Challenge.
Look at this Mixon.
That's a margin of 21 points. He's well past that in a 34-0 ball game.
Something I just didn't see coming at all. Spoto's been playing great defense all tournament long, but Drini just had the remedy.
Yeah, I hate to state the obvious, but oh my, look as Mixon continues.
Ridiculous. 30, 20, 10, touchdown. Just give him the belt.
What I was going to say is, I didn't mean to state the obvious, Scott, but Spoto has a better chance of drowning Aquaman than getting himself back in this ball game.
41-0.
I said earlier on, when I get home, I'm going to go get me an Eddie George from that Madden Ultimate Team store. I think it's going to be Joe Mixon instead.
Yeah, if you're at home and you play Madden Ultimate Team and you're trying to
Dion! He might go 109 yards. One man to beat. It doesn't have the stamina.
The shutout lives.
Just demoralized. If you're Spoto, you got to be proud of yourself. You're only 17 years old. You have to be proud of yourself. I wasn't doing anything like this when I was 17-year-old, and I felt like I was the best Madden player.
And
he drops
OBJ dropped it.
Oh, it's hanging around on his belly.
We've seen some wildness. That would have been the wildest.
Oh, man.
2nd and 10. I'm supposed to stay unbiased, but I'm rooting for him right here to score a touchdown. I got to be honest.
I
That
mean,
makes the two of us.
how stingy is Drini to hawk him down on that kick return? And then
he picks it off.
Oh, my goodness.
Kyle Fuller with the INT.
In Madden, we rate our players on a 1 to 99 scale, 99 being the best. If Drini had a stingy rating, it would be 99.
Mixon has 24 carries for 193 yards.
I feel like he's broken that first tackle every single time, Scott.
Yeah, his price on the auction house is skyrocketing right now.
At this point, I'm just curious, are we going to see the first ever shutout in competitive Madden Championship history at a major?
2-minute warning. It's been the most dominating, maybe the most dominating performance in the history of Madden. I'm talking at any level. Especially with this. I mean, I'm not talking about me beating my brother on the couch. But, you know, when it matters.
I was about to say, man, there's a lot of Madden games played out there in the world. You know, when I was on the ESPN show Madden Nation, they sent me to Braylon Edwards' house. I think I beat him 97-3. It was all set, but even he was able to put up 3.
Reed.
Good move.
Made a man miss.
All right, let's go, Spoto. Let's get some point. We're not supposed to be biased as commentators, but Spoto's too good to have a donut up there on that board. He needs to put it together here.
I'm calling my shot. Spoto's getting a touchdown this drive. I'm calling my shot.
Crowd here in the studio likes that one, and he throws another pick. It's a user alert, but out of position, LaDainian Tomlinson, the legend.
I appreciate the Tony Romo attempt, Mo, but I don't know, man.
6 turnovers now, and this one's in the fridge.
He didn't even give your shot time to settle in. It was like, I'm calling my shot. No.
I would have liked to see a draw there, a halfback dive, kind of ease our way into it.
Well, he's doubled up his opponents here in this tournament. He's scored 115 points. He's only given up 63, and that's in the last 4 games.
And I got to reiterate again. We've said it, and I want to continue to reiterate it. We're giving Spoto a little bit of a hard time right now, but this young man doesn't have anything to be ashamed of. Already secured $25,000, 17 years old. Very impressive.
Yeah, that number I was giving you was in the 4 finals that he's been in. He has doubled opponents up, and he looks like he's going to win his 2nd belt. And here comes the unicorn of Madden. There's no way he punts this. He's just giving, was that Ray Guy?
Just giving him a little PT.
Just giving him a little love. Giving him a little screen time here on ESPN2. The legend. And he is your champion. Drini, 41-0, wins his second belt. He's won over $200,000 in only 2 years of playing John Madden football. Come on over here and hang out with us, Drini. He had 203 rushing yards on the ground, 68 through the air. And he gets his second belt. And both of his belts in dominating fashion, one over young Kiv. And when you had that 2-hour break from the semifinals to now, Drini, did you ever imagine 41-0?
No, not really, but, you know, I got to give a shout out to Blocky for just helping out on defense just right there. Shout out to D-Croft and J-Wall for giving me trips tight end reps, and, you know, those three. And Ghost, my fault. Let me get Ghost in there. So those guys really helped me out, so I'm just happy.
Are you winded? What's going on here?
I just have a lot of emotion going on right now. But
well, you won your second belt.
Yeah. I mean, like those losses in the finals really did, you know, I used to think, you know, if I'm going to make it to the finals, I ain't going to lose. And those losses versus Kiv and Krutobin opened up my eyes. So I'm not, you know, overlooking anybody anymore. I thought Spoto, you know, great player. He beat Skimbo the game before, so I knew he was going to be a tough matchup. And, you know, I just locked in. I knew he was a tough opponent, so, you know, I'm just happy right now.
Yeah, I would say so. What about your road? I mean, Krutobin was strong. Little Man was strong. Spoto was really like maybe the best player. No offense to you. And then you just come in and you blitz him.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I had to play a hell of a road. Krutobin won the last championship. Little Man was a finalist in the Classic, and Spoto just made a far run being one of the best players ever, really, the round before. So I'm really happy, and I'm happy that I had a hell road to prove people that, you know.
Well, this is sort of our master's moment here. We don't have a green jacket or anything, but soon we'll be hearing from young Kiv. What did it mean to come up short a year ago down in Dallas and now come back and sort of get some redemption?
Right after I lost to Kiv, I promise you, like, I literally went to the players' lounge on the couch. I literally just started crying, you know. I told people, like, the money obviously, you know, is good and all, but it's like, it's not why I'm playing it. It's just I love Madden, and, you know, stuff means a lot to me. So when I lose and I feel like I'm the best, it does hurt. So, you know, I just kept going, and eventually, you know, I won another belt, so. Yeah.
Well, we know you're in the top 5 players, but there's starting to be some talk about could you be in the top 3, maybe pushing for number 1. Here's the MCS belt winner since Madden 16. There you see Serious Mo there at the challenge. That was here in San Francisco. The 2-time champ. He is your Madden 19 overall champ for the entire season. We've had an amazing journey throughout this. I want to thank the crew, everyone at EA, all the folks watching, our crew here for RG, Serious Mo, Nick, all the rest of the gang. We will see you next year here in John Madden Football.